Hello, everyone. This is Samantha Harms with the Garrison Public Affairs Office, and we're here for yet another amazing episode. We have the Commanding General of Fort Polk and JRTC here with us, so let's get right on into it. You are listening to the Great Big Podcast.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Eric Franklin with the Garrison Public Affairs Office, and today in the studio we have Brigadier General David Gardner. He is the Joint Readiness Training Center and Fort Polk Commanding General. Sir, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. It's been a great day at the great place.
I like that.
That's
Two
good.
greats.
That's good. Well, thank you for taking time out of your day to come be on the podcast with us.
I appreciate you having me.
So, how has your trip been so far?
It's been really great because not only we've gotten to meet a number of soldiers that are interested in coming to JRTC and Fort Polk, interested in what we have to say, and then it's also been nice. I've seen a few friendly faces from my previous service here and throughout the Army.
All right. Well, first off, sir, I want to just start off by trying to figure out what was it that made you decide that you wanted to be all you can be and join the Army all those years ago?
So I was pretty unique. I knew what I wanted to do since I was about 9 years old. I was what we would call in New York City a latchkey kid.
Okay.
I'd come home from school. I usually walked a quarter mile down to the library. I gravitated towards the military history books because they had lots of pictures.
Okay.
And just came on a book. Mostly started about the Army and then ultimately about West Point. And so knew what I wanted to do pretty early on. And I was fortunate enough to be able to do all those things.
I can't say that I've ever heard anybody say that they picked up a military book because it had a lot of pictures in it. So that's a first for me.
Yeah. Yeah. They were designed that way.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a lot of reading, though. Every time
that's
what I'm thinking. I'm like,
most people
are there pictures in there?
Too many words.
Yeah, there is a ton of words. Well,
I love that. I was going to say, so you hinted a little bit, Eric, you also hinted a little bit. You were previously stationed here. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I commanded Operational Test Command out on West Fort Hood from 2020 to 2022.
Okay.
And just a great assignment with fantastic Americans, a lot of civilians, which is, I think, something we underappreciate. There's about 250,000 civilians, Department of the Army civilians that serve our nation. And so it was a really great experience. And it was very nice to be here at Fort Hood, made a lot of good friends that we still stay in touch with.
That's great. I love that. So you recently left here then to go to Fort Polk. How was the transition for that?
It was, well, what I tell people is it's great because it's a 6-hour drive. It's mostly 70 to 75 miles an hour the whole way along. You have opportunity for door-to-door moves. But it was nice. We had been at Fort Polk from 2018 to 2020. Okay. So we knew the area. We knew a lot of the people. And so it really was a great place to feel like coming home to. Saw those people. And then it was also good to become the commanding general and stepping away for a couple of years to get an appreciation of the progress that had been at the place, because there's a lot of things that had improved even in the 2 years since we had been gone.
You know, so Sir, Fort Polk is in Vernon Parish, is that right?
Yeah, Vernon Parish.
I'm going to come back to why they're called parish. I kind of know, but I want to know. But so that's central Louisiana, and it's the crossroads of Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Tell us how the community outside of Fort Polk, how that is.
So it's a very welcoming community. Of course, like most military installations, there's some folks that have deep roots in that area for a lot of years. But the camp is what it started at in 1941. It's been there for a lot of years. Mm-hmm. Many of the people that you'll meet have some tie to the military. Of course, grandfathers who served in World War II, let's say. Many of our Vietnam generation soldiers went through Fort Polk at a place called Tigerland and did their basic training and then their advanced training there, preparing to go to Vietnam. And so the community is very welcoming. When we do events, for example, we celebrated our 30th anniversary last week of the Joint Readiness Training Center being there, and I think we had 5 mayors. So they definitely want to be there for the soldiers, and they want to know what we need.
Comparing Fort Hood and Fort Polk a little bit, that's something that obviously we talk a lot about here is the community that we have in Central Texas, do you kind of see a similarity between Fort Polk and Fort Hood with that connection to the community?
I do. I mean, I do think that, I've been to obviously a lot of Army installations. I think the Fort Hood community is special. There's a lot of soldiers, officers, non-commissioned officers who decide to retire here. There's a lot of deep roots here. And so I do think that there's a very good, close-knit relationship between the Fort Hood community and the surrounding communities here in the counties. And we enjoy, as I said, much of a similar thing. We're smaller in terms of we have more cities and townships, and so there's more elected leaders, public figures that you might deal with. And so you have to kind of pay attention and know who's who.
Okay.
But again, most people very energetic and very enthusiastic about being involved with Fort Polk soldiers, much like I think I saw when I was here for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So I know what the Joint Readiness Training Center and the National Training Center is, but tell Sam.
I was going to say,
yeah.
These are acronyms that people use a lot. They're like, oh, yeah, you got to go to NTC or I'm going to JRTC. I'm like, you're going someplace that's not here.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain what those are a little bit?
Yeah, so what it starts with really, and it started in the early 80s, and it was a deliberate effort by the Army to create a training center where we could send some of our larger formations, so send thousands of troops, not tens and 20s, to go to a place and validate the things that they have to be able to do in realistic combat conditions. So we say that they're crucibles, meaning that it's difficult. We make it hard. You can win, but you better bring your A game if you're going to win. We have professional opposition forces that are very hard to beat. And we have state-of-the-art technology that helps us help you see yourself if you're training there. And so the National Training Center began in the early 80s. The Joint Readiness Training Center actually began at Chaffee, really in Arkansas, in 1987. It moved to Fort Polk in 1993. And so now in the U.S., we have two DIRT CTCs, as we call them, because they, we train in the woods, in the dirt, so to speak. We also have the Mission Command Training Program, which is really computer simulation, and that's for divisions and corps. So that's a bit different, but that's under our training center program. And we also maintain one in Europe, in Germany, called the Joint Multinational Readiness Center, which has a slightly different focus because of allies, but at their base, they also do the same type of training there. But really in the U.S., the Joint Readiness Training Center and the National Training Center are the crown jewels of the U.S. Army.
You had mentioned that you guys have a professional training force, opposition force, and Sam had asked me, she's like, what do they do? I was like, they have this guy called Geronimo. Can you tell us a little bit about who Geronimo is and why he seems to never lose?
Yeah, Geronimo, we say, is the most hated battalion in the U.S. Army.
Oh, boy.
But no, they're the opposition forces, and so they're very hard to beat. They're very good at what they do. Everybody thinks they cheat, because how else could they do the things they do?
Right.
The reality is that they do the same thing on the same terrain every single month, and they get good at it through repetition. It's not always the same fight, because every unit that comes down there is going to fight them differently, and so they have to adjust. But they're very good at doing it, and they get very practiced at, frankly, doing the things that we want our regular forces that are training there to model. So they model it for the units. And one of the things that we do, which is undervalued, I think, in the opportunities, is every rotation there's 2 or 3 companies that go and augment our opposition forces. And when you talk to those company leaders, they typically have a fantastic 14, 20 days of training when they're down there, learning how to do things, and also just getting the time to be able to work on the things that they want to work on. And then they can do crazy stuff. So I was talking to Joel Bernabe last night, and Geronimo used to have beards, and so his stories about when he served at JRTC, because he proudly did, he's a huge advocate, is he was reminding me of Geronimo sneaking into a battalion command post with their beard and civilian clothes, and nobody challenges them. And then later on, we show the battalion, so here's your operations order, And there's Geronimo standing in the back watching the whole thing. You guys never challenged him, right? So they're also notorious for the tricks that they'll pull on people. But again, they really just get very good at what they do.
That's awesome. Wow. So with that, obviously, we're talking a lot about what JRTC is and does. So there's a reason that you're here at I almost said at Fort Polk.
See, we've got you converted.
You got me converted already.
Already.
You're here at Fort Hood. Do you want to tell us what that reason is?
So one of the things that, we say quite honestly is because it is such a difficult training rotation when you come down there, we have a hard time in soldiers' minds disassociating the training center and the crucible experience when you come down there to fight war. Right. With what it's like to live there. Yeah. And so what I say is 95% of the people that come there are told, I'm sorry. But if you walk around inside our gates, 95% of the people love it there, which means there's a disconnect, which means we're not sharing the truth of the opportunities and the quality of life that one has at Fort Polk. And so what we don't want is we don't want the rumors, the myth to be driving talented people's decisions, because it is such a valuable opportunity to be able to serve at Fort Polk, not just for your professional growth, but the family life there is truly special. And so we go around and we try to let people know what we do there, what the opportunities are there, and what it's really like living there. And quite frankly, we wind up, after we talk with people around the Army, with a complete inversion. If 20% were interested before we speak to them, 80% are interested afterward. And that's worth the investment if we can spread the message. And even if someone doesn't choose the assignment for themselves, I'm okay with that because hopefully that's someone who will help somebody else who may mention to them that they're thinking about it and have the most accurate information.
Sir, I see that you guys are on a short list of quality of life installations, Fort Hood being one, Fort Wainwright up in Alaska, and
NTC,
and Fort Irwin.
That's the four.
So tell us a little bit about what that is and how that money and how those improvements help you guys just with the soldiers.
Yeah, I think we've had tremendous investment in Fort Polk. And so I think it's maybe more difficult at a place like Fort Hood to see the daily improvements. Now, we've got about 20,000 soldiers and family members, so we're not small, but we're about the quarter the size of Fort Hood. Okay. What that translates to us is, I'm cutting a ribbon on something every week. Okay. We just fixed some roads. We're opening new barracks. I've got 6 barracks that are going to come online after refurbishment, and then 37 of our required 38 barracks will be either built or on the way towards building or refurbishment. Wow. And we won't have the overcrowding. We don't have some of the challenges there. We are able to maintain our fun things to do, our MWR, and although we have to still ensure that we can keep those things afloat from a fiscal perspective, we've got a little bit of latitude because everybody understands the importance of those programs. So we've been able to maintain our golf course. We have a bowling center with go-karts, with miniature golf. We're able to do movie nights that are free for the families. We've put $92 million into our homes in just the last few years. We've got deals with local universities for continuing education, not just for soldiers and kids, but for spouses. Louisiana is a state that, much like Congress just passed for the rest of the U.S., spouse certifications are recognized by the state of Louisiana, every single one of them, except for law, in which case you would have to take the bar. Right. So I think it translates into tangible things every day. But what I also like to say is quality of life, we typically talk about things, but for me, I think the beauty of Fort Polk is we're big enough to have every program, but we're small enough where people aren't just a number, they're a name. And so when you have a problem, you know who to call. When you're in command, you know who to call. When you're a family member and you have an issue, you're probably going to see me or my spouse or some other leader and be able to advance that problem, and we can get to a solution. And so whether it's our access to talk directly to the Secretary of the Army about the installation, or it's the money, or it's just this quality of service that we pride ourselves in. To me, that's what it means to be a quality installation, at least at Fort Polk.
Okay.
So when I was a kid, we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but as you're listing off some of the facilities that you guys have, prior to us recording today, I was talking about my experience because I lived at Fort Polk as a kid. So I was in 3rd grade at the time. So like kid, and all my memories from Fort Polk are like me and all my friends running around in the woods, just doing whatever we wanted all hours of the day, especially in the summer. Nobody seems to care because they're like, oh, we're on a military installation. Like, we know it's safe here. Like, you've got all your friends, just go have fun. And then the pool. That's the other thing I remember. Loved the pool there.
No, I tell you, it still is. The sense of community there is still like that. The sense of shared parenting, so to speak, where you've got a neighborhood where people watch out for other folks' kids in the neighborhood. So I do think a lot of that core still exists, but there's a lot more to do.
Yeah, that's good.
People say it's hot and humid, and it is, just like here at Fort Hood. But we just built an indoor playground. So come bring your 2 to 12-year-olds. They can run around the playground. You can run on the treadmill. You can do a birthday party over there.
Wow.
Get some coffee,
or
something like that. So we do try to listen so that your choice isn't just to run around the woods with sticks, but you can do that if you want to.
So we had a teeny tiny little playground that was behind the house too. So if we didn't feel like playing on that, then it was the woods.
Yeah.
And I think also now kids don't want to go outside and play as much as they used to, or I know as mine don't want to go outside and play as much as I used to go outside and play.
Which is why now part of quality of life at Fort Polk includes video game tournaments, right? For the soldiers and the kids that don't want to, get outside the house too much.
That's what I did.
It's like, where are you? I haven't seen you since 6 o'clock this morning.
I'm
around. I'll be around.
I'll be around.
So, sir, the Army, every 24 to 36 months, you kind of hit on it earlier, but every 24 to 36 months, soldiers are moving. What program does Fort Polk have for those soldiers and their family members to keep them acclimated and to get them like, okay, here you go, you hit the ground running? As far as you mentioned it about the licensing for spouses and the children program. I remember in one of the briefings you said that you guys are ranked number 4 as far as military installations when it comes to education.
Yeah, so that's one of the narratives that we try to educate folks on is Louisiana, unfortunately, is fairly low as a state in the U.S. in overall education. But if you look at the studies that we've gotten access to that measure performance of our kids at the schools outside of our military installation, so outside Fort Hood and Fort Campbell and Fort Bragg and Fort Benning and all the installation-related schools, ours rank 3rd in math, 5th in reading, and 4th in sending kids to college. So the school experience is pretty good there. And my son graduated from high school there. He's about to graduate from college, from Emory University. My daughter's a junior right now in high school there. And, every program that you would need, the school really does want to try to provide those. And if they can't, one of the things where we then step in is finding those resources either through something online or some other way. And the same thing really goes for our soldiers and our spouses when it comes to continuing education or degree completion.
So if last 2 things that I have is if you had to sum up the 4 greatest reasons to come to Fort Polk and the Joint Readiness Training Center, what would those 4 good things be besides food? Because I know there's a lot of food there.
There is good food. No, I would say first for soldiers, officers, NCOs, and soldiers, it is professionally rewarding. People forget that we're not just a combat training center. I've got about 8,000 soldiers, and about 7,000 of them are just as deployable as anybody on Fort Hood or any other installation. But those that are working there in operations group are able to help units get better, and by extension, getting much better themselves. And they become, true professionals that are trusted and respected within the Army. So it's number one, professionally rewarding. Number two, I think, is it's a close-knit community, like we addressed earlier. We've got 3 major housing areas. Unlike most places, 60% of our population lives on the installation.
Oh,
wow.
And so you're part of a close-knit community on the installation with a friendly community off the installation. It is an incredibly predictable place from scheduling, particularly if you are an OCT or in our opposition force within the JRTC side of things. It is the kind of place not only where you can come in the summer and buy your Christmas plane tickets and know you're going to do it, but you can absolutely go to the daddy-daughter dance and go have lunch at the kindergarten and do those things that so often in the Army our schedule overcomes. And then the fourth thing I would say is things to do. I've actually had somebody say to me, "Sir, there's too many things to do here." And I think it was someone who was feeling this pressure as a leader to go to everything. And I said, well, that's adulting. You're going to have to make some choices. But there's a tremendous amount of things to do, particularly that are family-friendly on the Fort Polk installation. So professionally rewarding, close-knit community, right? We've got predictability, and we've got a lot of things to do.
Wow.
Okay. And the only other question that I have is, it's not on the list, but what is your favorite MRE? MRE is meal ready to eat.
Thank you. I need that one, but we have people who don't.
I don't have a favorite, but anything with chicken was always my go-to.
Yeah, okay.
Now, that was my standard fare. Of course, when there was things like Ranger School, it's whatever one had the most stuff in them. And of course, in the old days, anything that came with M&Ms. But generally, I'm pretty happy with a chicken anything.
Okay. All right. Sam, do you
I
have
got one more question.
Oh, there you go.
People who are listening, who are stationed here at Fort Hood, have interest in coming to Fort Polk, what do they need to do?
They can do one of two things. They can Google JRTC in Fort Polk, and our website's going to come up, and we're super easy to navigate that, and we're all over YouTube. Okay. But if they're interested, they can also just email me, Gardner David W. And again, we like to engage people on a by-name basis, not just the numbers. So they can absolutely contact me.
That's awesome. Great. Well, do you have anything else that you wanted to share that we didn't have a chance to talk about yet?
Again, just thanks for having me. I appreciate, General Bernabe is a huge fan of the combat training centers, and I know JRTC has a special place in his heart. So I do appreciate he and Fort Hood opening the installation for us to come talk to soldiers. Because again, I think it's good for our Army as we try to give our leaders more of an opportunity to choose where they go and their family members a choice in where they go. And that's what's behind the new marketplace way of doing things for non-commissioned officers, and has always been there for our soldiers that are re-enlisting. And so I appreciate the opportunity, any opportunity where we can tell people to understand what the truth about Polk is and make an informed decision. And if we're not your cup of tea, that's fine. There's a lot of great places in the Army, but please don't tell someone something that's either dated information or that you gained insights to because Pizza Hut on North Fort during a rotation was the only thing you experienced at Fort Polk.
Yeah, so real quick, I know we're almost short on time, but the 4 times that I've been to Fort Polk, I never saw Fort Polk. I've only seen North Fort Polk. It's only been for training. Right. So I never, no one's ever said anything bad about it, but that's literally what a lot of people have is just that the training area, there's no reason for them to go to main
So
post.
one of the great ideas that our team had that we've started doing now for about 10 months or so is at the end of every rotation, folks help us identify people that might be good or might be interested. And exactly like you said, we actually take them down to South Fort and we show them what it's like to live on Fort Polk for exactly that reason. Is so many people will never get to see anything but the woods.
Yeah, because usually when you get there, it's either at night or it's in later part of the day, and you just drive, and then you go right in, and you don't see it, and that's it. You have a big holding area, but that's all that you really see, and that's it. So,
well, you're welcome to come back and visit it. You can, hey, a lot of radio shows, right? You got to go on the road show.
That's right.
Come to Fort Polk.
I'll have to go back and see what has changed since I was there in 2003.
I can guarantee your house is no longer there.
I'm sure it's not. So even when I was living there, they were starting to tear down homes or go inside and renovate them all. So as we were leaving, they're like, yeah, this home's being torn down. It's ready. We're like, oh, okay.
Well, all right. We like to thank you for coming on to the Great Big Podcast. We enjoy it. Hopefully this will become a every year thing, and we'll see you probably sometime this time next year, maybe.
I hope so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let your voice be heard at BOSS.
What's BOSS?
BOSS stands for Better Opportunities for Single Soldiers and serves the single service member community, active, guard, and reserve, as well as single parents, geographical bachelors, all U.S. military service branches, and foreign service members assigned to the installation. The BOSS program is based on quality of life, community service, and recreation and leisure. As a member of BOSS, have a voice in how you live, how you spend your leisure time, and how you support the community around you. BOSS membership and the program's available leadership and project management roles also will enhance your promotion package. For more information about how you can become a BOSS member, visit our website at hood.armymwr.com.
And welcome back. I'm Corporal Kyra Pearl with the 3rd Armored Corps Public Affairs Office.
And I'm another familiar voice, Specialist Garrett Dacko with 11th Signal Brigade.
Speaking of voices, my voice sounds horrible, and I just want to get that out of the way now. I'm aware.
Well, I also want to get out the way first off, too, is the two of you are back. I don't think we've had all four of us together in a while.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Hot minute.
It's like we ad hoc. It's like you'll find one or two of us, but it's never all of us.
I know. It's
We're
nice,
technically
though.
4 different people, but people may not know that.
Yeah. No,
People
it's
may
just
not
one
know
person.
that.
I
doing
hope
different
they know
voices.
that.
Yeah. Just doing different- yeah.
Otherwise, that person's working really hard.
Right?
Super hard.
It's Eric.
Yeah. No, it's Sam.
Hi, I'm Eric Franklin.
I know.
Ooh, that was good.
I didn't even
That
realize
wasn't me.
that. We were all in the room for once.
Yeah.
That has
Yeah.
not happened in forever.
I know. It's weird.
It's been almost a year. Yeah.
Has it
Oh,
really?
don't say that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's been almost a year since you've started working here.
That too. Yeah.
It has not been almost a year since all four of us were
Yes,
here.
it has
There's
been.
no way.
It was
no
like
way.
Oh.
it was like beginning of mid-May.
no,
With the
there's
le-
no
yes.
way.
Okay, we're going to have to come back with some stats.
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
facts.
we will come back.
Clear
I
this
want you all
up.
to write
Next
into
week.
to Eric Franklin specifically. No.
Actually, you were wrong. It was cited on this date.
Someone's probably going to come back. Nope, it was episode 160, 150, and it was 35 minutes in when all of you were on there.
Well, if you feel so inclined, our email is forthoodpao@gmail.com. Feel free to let us know.
Isn't
We're
that
gonna
getting
have
ready to
to-
change too?
Yeah.
It is actually.
I was going to say, we're going to have to change that email
It
soon.
is.
Yeah.
It
Very
is.
soon.
Yeah, as of May 9th.
It
Yeah.
will be Fort Cavazos.
Yeah, very exciting.
May 9th?
Yeah, May 9th.
May 9th.
Coming up real quick.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be here real fast. We're like 45 days out already. It's
Yeah.
That's crazy.
to think about.
That's so fast.
I know. Yeah. Especially considering we've been talking about this for what feels like forever now.
It feels like it was in the works for quite a while.
Yeah. So I'm excited for the name to change, for redesignation to Fort Cavazos. I think it'll be good. I think the person that we're obviously changing after is amazing, General Cavazos from
And we'll get-
Texas.
And you'll get to hear all about him in the next
Ooh.
a little plug.
I can't
Yeah.
wait. I think we have a lot of stuff coming up that I think the listeners and the readers are going to really like to experience and read.
Yeah.
It's exciting to be a part of this new turning of the leaf for
Yeah.
our fort. So
It is cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Definitely something that not very many people get to experience. So
exactly.
it'll be fun to be one of the few.
How long has Fort Hood been named Fort Hood?
For
Do we know
forever.
that?
So forever since
Since-
1942. Originally started as Camp Hood,
Can't put it.
and then obviously changed to Fort
Yeah,
Hood at
historians
some
in the room,
point
y'all.
Some
that I don't know off the top of my head. But
Why don't you know?
I know.
In the
As-
50s.
As the editor of the Sentinel, you think I would know that, but I definitely don't. Yikes.
That's all right. I'll do some
Yeah.
research.
Yeah, you come back
I'll
and
write
let
an
us know.
Oh, there you go.
Oh. Well,
You
so
all
here's
heard it.
this thing.
I may not submit it.
I was going to say, here's this thing. You like to tell us that you're doing things.
I do.
So I'm
I
going
do,
to either
and
call
I
you
do.
out.
No, I
you got to
get-
do it. Or say you're not doing it.
I take back that
No,
statement.
okay, I thought
I
so.
take it back.
Speaking
I had
of
a
calling
feeling.
Daco out, how is your book reading going for this
Ooh.
year?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Wait, you told me.
It's going so well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think
Hold
you
on.
said it's going well.
See,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we had an episode with all of us here near the New Year because I
Yeah.
remember us all talking
You
about
might
our
be
New
right.
Year's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are right.
That's right. I came back with the facts
She didn't even have to Google it and go listen.
because I remember making fun of him for the book.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right.
Yes.
It's a very
right.
good memory.
I'm proud of you.
So
Look at you.
I did finish my first book of the year already,
yeah.
and I started my second one.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So you will be in the next episode of Book and Movie of the Month then?
Ooh.
Possibly you might hear my voice. That is
We-
possible.
You said I'm not committing.
We'll put
That's what I heard.
I cannot confirm nor deny at this moment.
I just
We'll
called
put a
him
pin
out
in
on it,
that
I was
and
nervous.
circle back with
Yeah.
it.
Cannot
So-
confirm or deny.
So you guys, I know you guys just came in as he was leaving out, but we talked with the Fort Polk commander and the JRTC commander. You guys missed out, and I think you missed out. I know you had interviewed him last year,
Yes.
and well, you interviewed the commander. It's not the same. It wasn't the same commander. He had just got there.
Oh,
Yes,
different commander.
yes. They changed out. I want to say it was last summer sometime, but you missed out on a good episode. When we get done, I'll let you go back and listen to it and check
I
it
will.
out.
I promise.
They have some good stuff going on there. And his favorite MRE is chicken. Anything chicken.
Chicken.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of chicken MREs now.
They
How
only
many
have
are there?
chicken breast. Like there's chicken breast and then there's what is it called?
I remember sometimes the chicken actually comes in like a tuna packet. And it's
Mhm.
weird and
Ew.
watery.
Yeah.
That sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, all MREs are to be fair.
They're more out of necessity.
Yeah, I was
than
gonna
Yeah.
say, I don't think
anything
people
else.
are eating them for fun, except
Mm.
for like high schoolers when they come over to visit.
Yeah.
you know what? Sam, you've ate an MRE before, right?
No.
Never?
No.
I hear a
definitely
story
not.
You've
coming.
never had a meal ready to eat?
I have not.
Someone
no.
go get the veggie omelet.
A
Ugh.
veggie omelet, as long as it's not the fettuccine alfredo.
That's
I'm feeling really nervous right
I
now.
like the Mexican stew. The Mexican stew is not bad. You have to make sure it's warm though. Whatever you make,
Oh.
Yeah.
you got to make sure you cook it. Because some
Oh.
people will just eat it and they'll just
No.
they'll eat it
Ew.
raw.
Chili mac
Mm.
or Southwest.
The cheese tortellini's not
beans.
that bad.
Yeah. The
Oh.
cheese tortellini is pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember I used to like in basic the tuna fish one came with like a lemon cake or something.
Mhm.
But now every time I get it, the lemon cake's not there, and it makes me want to cry because I'm like, I just wanted the lemon cake. It's the only reason I picked you.
If you count calories, those
Don't
you-
count calories.
Yeah, don't count
They're-
calories with
They have a lot
MREs
of calories for a good reason, though.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Yeah.
to
They-
keep
they
you
work.
active all day.
They're doing their job.
they really are.
They are. So, news editor, Sentinel news editor, what do we have coming up in the news briefs this week?
Yeah. So obviously the first one is the redesignation.
Mhm.
We've already covered that though. The Apache Arts and Crafts is hosting a Create a Bunny Gnome event
That's so
April
cute.
8th at Apache.
Aw.
It is open to all ages and is $10 per person. So
That's pretty cool.
super cute. Get to make a little gnome.
That's a bunny?
beat That yeah, that's a
Gnome
bunny.
bunny.
A gnome, a bunny
gnome.
gnome.
They make a lot of
Bunny?
gnome
Bunny?
mashups lately.
They do. They really do. That's the thing, I guess. I'm into it.
yeah, same. Cute.
Yeah. So we've got that. Fort Hood Family and Morale, Welfare, and Recreation is hosting Red Cross lifeguard certification classes April 20th through 23rd.
Get those summer jobs.
That's right. Yes, they are actively hiring. So if you are looking for that, they are hosting online classes with an in-person water skills section of it, hosted at Abrams Gym.
Woo woo.
Oh,
Pool
inside.
there. Yeah, inside. So get it done now and get a nice little summer job where you're hanging out at the pool all day. Can't beat that.
Get a couple extra dollars there, Deca.
Well, I am a good swimmer.
See?
That's, yeah. It's open to everybody. And then the last thing that I have is Fort Hood's FMWR has started hosting fitness classes again. So every Monday they have a Get Strong HIIT style class from 6 to 7 p.m. also at Abrams. It is 45 minutes and is offered to both high and low impact participants. So got some modifications for you for no matter what you're looking for. And then they also are hosting twice weekly Reclaim Fitness classes, which is every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 10 at building 12018. I don't have it written down, the name of it, so I'm so sorry about that. Those classes are $3 a person. So
that's not too bad at all.
yeah. So if you're looking to do some more class style things for your workouts, check out Fort Hood FMWR. They got lots of stuff available.
Woohoo. Gotta get those summer bods ready.
That's right.
Yeah, it's too late.
Too late.
Too late.
It's March.
It's March.
It's too late.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
Summer's barely started.
It's too late.
Well, it doesn't feel like it.
It is still spring, so you got plenty of time.
I always
Allegedly.
forget that we have a spring here.
Yeah,
It feels
it's
like it
spring.
jumps straight to summer.
I know.
But this
It's-
is
Well, it did
This is spring.
with the heat, yeah, but then it's like 50 degrees and windy, and I'm like, nope, not summer.
yeah, it like it goes
No.
back and forth around this time of year. I feel like
Yeah.
it gets hot, then the next day it's raining like crazy.
Yeah.
April showers, but in March.
We're almost April, though.
Oh my
Almost,
gosh.
almost.
This year is already going by. We're almost in April, which means we're almost halfway through the year.
Oh, it's crazy.
We just said that we're not in summer yet, but
you
you
just-
instantly went to, we're almost halfway through the year.
Halfway through the year.
Brought it back
Make
to
up your
summer.
mind.
Oh my, it's basically July. I do feel like that sometimes though.
Yeah.
Like I'm counting down the days and I'm like, well, no, it's basically like June 19th. Like, and it's March. Basically. Definitely.
I mean, to be fair,
Basically.
when the summer's actually here, I'm going to be saying that the year's over.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll just jump straight to December.
Literally.
Ready for Christmas.
August, I mean, does August even exist?
No, not really.
August and September, they slip my mind. We go
It's
straight
just
into all the holidays
like a
at
hot,
once.
sweaty blur just going right by.
Every day.
Very sweaty, especially here in Texas.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah,
forgets
now that I
about
think about it, I am just going to relish in the fact that it's still spring because I am not ready for that heat to come back.
What about the September birthdays?
We're going straight to
We-
September
We
birthday.
Apparently we're
exist.
going
No,
straight
she
to
was like,
September now.
August, September doesn't
Oh,
exist.
yeah, it
I'm like,
doesn't.
what about September birthdays?
Sorry.
We're real people too.
Pick another month.
Sorry, we're closed.
Yeah, that's fair.
We've all left for the summer. Sorry. Pick another month.
I wish I could.
Just be like the leap year babies where they just like,
Yeah.
nah, I'll pick a different day.
It was just another day.
Ah,
I'm in March now.
It's gonna close enough.
March 1st.
That's right. Ah, boy.
Speaking of time flying by quickly, this is the last week where Dave Larson,
Yes.
the OG host of the podcast, is going to be a part of our amazing team here at Garrison.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
crazy. He's retiring.
Yeah.
So gets to go home, and he's told me that he's going to go home and start writing the great American novel that I think he has said to me that he's going to go home, start writing the great American novel that nobody will ever read. So,
Aw.
you know, I love that for him.
And he's going to walk. He's going to do a lot of walking. I know that.
A lot of walking.
Yes.
That's good.
He
love
walks way
walking.
more than I do. But he's been, I came here just over a year ago now, and now he's leaving. But he was a big part of the not only the podcast,
He
the
started
news.
it.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
He was the
wouldn't be there.
beginning
We
of the
wouldn't be
podcast.
there.
we wouldn't be
We
sitting
would
around
not,
this
no.
table.
I was gonna say I wasn't a part of the original podcast team. I was their backup. For
It's up there on the
whenever-
wall.
Yes, yes. we
As
have
I
some
point to the
photos
wall.
on
The
here.
OG, and then the OG, and now
Yeah.
like us.
And
And
Yeah.
so you're like semi part of the OG,
Yeah, I'm like partial
but
OG.
definitely part of the OG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he is the
Yes.
capital THE OG. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is really sad to see him go.
Yeah.
How many episodes are we on now?
This
Oh, my
is
goodness.
165.
I remember whenever we celebrated, I don't know, we've celebrated all the milestones. We used to go through it with him and Charlie and oh my gosh, I'm gonna forget her. I forgot her first name because I'm a soldier.
Brianna?
Yes. She was sergeant to me.
Yes.
So to be fair.
Fair.
But yeah, it's so crazy. Everyone's leaving. I guess it's my turn next.
For shame.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm shortly after.
So
All right.
that means that we're going to be looking for new people.
We're going to be looking for people if anyone wants to come on and join
We're
the
taking
podcast.
applications now.
Yes, we are.
It's a rigorous interview process.
Absolutely.
No, but
Yes.
seriously.
Hey, do you want to do a podcast? Cool, come on.
Show on up.
Showing up?
Seriously, so it's like it's bittersweet,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
but yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, it'll be
excited.
weird to not have Dave around anymore. He's given me some great advice over the 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years? How long have I worked here?
2.5 years?
2 years?
Forever.
2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. I've been here
2
2 years. That I still use every day, and I'm gonna miss all the advice. So.
I never would have known that I could even be capable of doing a podcast if he hadn't have taught me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's helped me with my writing. As those who read my stories, they know they have improved a lot. And I
This is true.
I put that on Dave and Sam by telling me, nope, this isn't right. And them just politely sliding it back over to me. And it's like, that's not right.
I remember whenever he taught me how to write too. It was January 2019.
Wow.
January 2020.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I was here for like a whole month. I got to be a part of the newspaper just so he could like hardcore teach me how to write.
Wow.
It was a really fun experience.
That's
Yeah.
great.
A lot of
talked to him
knowledge
a
leaving
couple
the
times.
office.
No, I sat in his office, I think, for like, it had to be like close to like an hour and a half
Wow.
where we just talked. Like
Yeah.
he told me his whole life story and everything. And I was like, if you ever get the time to sit down and actually listen to that,
Yeah.
it was really, really cool. So
Yeah.
I'm sad to see him go.
Yeah. Sad to see him go, but we're happy that he's
Very
retiring
happy.
and
Yes.
gets to relax.
Very
and-
That's where the
excited for him.
bittersweet comes in. 'cause
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a good thing for him.
Definitely, and I'm jealous. Can I retire too, or what?
Really, how much time do I got left?
50 years.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Can't think of it like that.
That's the only way you can think of it.
But yes, so shout out to Dave.
We
Shout out, Dave,
will
you're awesome.
miss you.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's about it, guys. Does anybody have anything else?
I think that's it. I think that's all
it.
we got. Everyone's shaking their heads no.
Oh, well,
For people
That's
who
all.
can't see
Oh,
what's
I
going
forgot.
on in
We're
here,
not live.
we're in
Yeah.
Where's our cameras?
audio.
yeah,
We haven't
we're
brought
just
the cameras
audio.
yet.
Yes.
Not yet.
Gotta get those cameras.
They're
Only
coming.
audio.
They're coming.
Just do like a fishbowl around,
Oh, that might work too.
right?
I
Yeah.
like that.
Well, we thank y'all for listening to this week's episode of the Great Big Podcast, and we hope y'all have an amazing week.
Bye, Dave.
Bye.
This podcast is a U.S. Army Garrison Fort Hood and Fort Hood Public Affairs production. The show's theme music is written and produced by Delicious All-Stars. All our music is obtained through Filter by Songtrader. Have a question or want to share some insights with us? Email us at forthoodpao@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at USAG Fort Hood. And as always, be sure to leave a review and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.